Man pwede?
Baka naman pwede.
Mga isyung napapanahon, ating pag-usapan.
Baka naman pwede.
Gamit ang mga pananaw mula sa iba't ibang kalinangan.
Baka naman pwede.
Mula sa Institute of Philippine Culture, kami inyong samahan. Tayo'y maghuntahan. Dito lang sa
Baka naman pwede.
Tuwing Huwebes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow JustCom PH on Spotify and JustCom Music in YouTube.
2.5 hours of non-stop music. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM brings you the Monday Megamix.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, baby! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, baby! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo!
Traveling
ikot kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawan ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at gigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Coming up next, ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Sa Vlog Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawan ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
They've been behind every exam week, every thesis defense, and every milestone along the way. As they grow into thinkers, leaders, and changemakers, we are right there with them, listening, learning, and leading. This is your space, your voice, your story, where parenthood, purpose, and community come together on air. This is ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. Listen in, laugh with us, and journey alongside fellow Ateneo parents as we share stories of service, solidarity, and the magic in everyday parenting. ASPACes, your story, your voice, your space. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Great afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ASPACes, that Ateneo Parents in Action. Wow, ASPAC people, hello. Welcome to the show. 30th of June. What a way to end this June. We have free coffee here. Thank you so much, KTP, DJ Pong Santos. And of course, how are you today, my True Blue co-host?
A little under the weather. That's why I'm waiting for the hot coffee so that to perk me up.
Oh yeah, I waited for that tagline, for that, what do you call that? Anong tawag dun, di ba usually lagi parang aantayin mo lagi yung...
The leading question?
Hindi. Yun talaga tayo you know. We're getting older, but the show is, of course, getting broader and bigger. And today, we are so lucky to have a very special guest. You know, he's not only a stage actor, he's famous in the business world, of course. And he brought his artista van, that I call it. But he doesn't call it artista van, he calls it my business van. Oh yes, whatever you call it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Edwin Moran. Hi, Sir Edwin.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, would
Hello,
you like
everyone.
to say hello to everyone? Yep.
Yeah.
Yon.
So, I guess that's it.
Yeah, you want to greet your fans? Everyone's watching right now. We're live on Facebook
I don't
and
know
YouTube.
about my fans.
Your PCCI family, of course.
Yeah, right. So the people from the University of Perpetual Help also
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
And the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
That's right. Yeah, welcome
Yeah.
to the show, Sir Edwin Moran. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for
you know.
inviting me.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have you because today we're going to talk about business, especially the finding funding innovation. I know it's been your project for a decade, I don't know, a decade or two, but we're quite, interested to know more how it all started and saan na kayo ngayon? I mean, when you started, saan na ngayon si Finding Funding Innovation? And aside from that, we also want to talk about you, your personal life, yung parenting tips, and the most beautiful photo that you sent me, because it's quite interesting because I thought it was an oil painting. So, let's start off with that question.
Yeah, why not?
Where did that
You can
photo come from?
Yeah, that's the reason why I sent it to you. I asked you to change the picture because of the... it's a special picture because somebody was introduced to me, and he's a Singaporean commercial photographer.
Wow.
And he was telling me that, the industry is beginning to suffer because of, he was saying that if it's so easy now to copy, and now that there's AI, so there's no need anymore of models, and things can be done now by AI. So he had to rethink things. So it's part of innovating things, right? He's thinking of something different that AI can't do.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a challenge.
And so that picture was taken in the dark.
What?
Yeah.
In the dark?
Yeah, in the dark. So it's what they call light painting.
Light.
Yes.
Painting.
So it's like, he calls it paintography. Paintography. He uses light. So it was done in the dark. So I really did not see myself.
Okay.
Right? Without all the lights, like here, we have all the lights that he turned off all the lights. And he used a flashlight.
So good thing you're maputi. Good thing you're white. Otherwise it's gonna be all dark.
It doesn't matter. When you're
Okay.
already in the dark, at least almost, right?
Okay.
He would open the door outside a little bit, so he will see himself at least where he's walking around, and he positioned myself, and we would be. This is about 31 seconds. This was taken, and he was using light as a paintbrush.
Which light is this? A flashlight?
Flashlight.
Okay.
Flashlight.
Like a normal flashlight.
Yeah, a normal flashlight. Of course,
Okay.
he's Singaporean, so he calls it a torch.
Torch. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
well, I would rather use a flashlight. I might burn.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he does that, and he paints using the flashlight.
Okay.
And that's how you would see the picture. That's why, since he is a famous commercial photographer,
Right.
that one
Yeah.
there, that's a picture that you might say, I may never have another picture again. However, this is something that he wants to do. He wants to pass on because he's now about, I think it's 75, 76.
All right.
And he would want to pass this on. So he was asking me if there's anybody here in the Philippines that might want to do something like this. It's like a franchise, and then it would be passed on as something that is different. So
Amazing.
anybody who wants to do that and wants to learn, and he will have sort of like an art show. He would have it. I think it would be done online.
Online. Okay. And
Right,
his name
yeah.
is Charlie
Lim.
Charlie
Yes, Charlie Lim. He's
Look
a
him up.
Singaporean.
All
Yeah,
right.
you can look it up in the Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, and paintography.
Paintography. Wow, that's quite interesting. And thank you. It's my first time to hear such. I was telling my daughter a while ago because she's into arts and designs. And when she saw the photo, she said, oh my God, this is really interesting. This is really something new for her. New ideas popped in. Yeah, so that's about the picture.
Wow.
There are lots of things to talk about, Sir Edwin Moran, aside from being one of the board members of University of Perpetual Health, PCCI, partner with the OST, a lot of things. But I want to focus on the Finding Funding Innovation. So how did this project start, Sir
Well,
Edwin?
let's start it this way. I was saying that we, the Philippines, we are a net importer. Okay. So, in order for us to develop the country, we need to also develop our exporting capability,
Okay.
right? And of course, we have the Filipinos are known to be bright, right? So.
Of course, I'm so proud.
yeah.
I am bright.
So we need to
I'm
look.
smart.
And then I wondered, where are all the bright people? Where are the bright Filipinos? And why are they not coming out?
Yeah.
They're
See?
abroad.
So we need to do that because why are we importing? So that means people outside are the ones who have the art or the skills, but we don't have it.
Yeah.
I think we have, right? But we need to be able to draw it out. And I, being in part of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I was just thinking, how do we bring it out? Who is missing in the formula, right? In the equation. And I think it is the businessman. We, the businessman in the Chamber of Commerce,
Right.
we only look for products that we can sell immediately. So we do a lot of, we go out of the country, we start looking for products, we become distributors coming here to the Philippines, but we don't go into research and development.
Correct.
See, we don't do that. And with the present technologies that's happening around the world, why don't we start bringing out the geniuses of the genius of the Filipino? And I think it's just that we businessmen are not in that stage. So we need to start moving. That's why it's called finding and funding innovation.
Okay.
So from the businessman's point of view, okay? So finding, usually inventors and stuff would come over to us and present their inventions. I'd like to do it the reverse.
Okay.
We will look for those people. We will seek them out throughout the Philippines because the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, we have 130 plus chambers of commerce throughout the country. Right? So can you imagine if we mobilize all of them? We will be able now to get or have those people in the woodworks to come out.
Right.
So how do we do that?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Well, I think the businessmen, there's a lot of business people here, okay? We tend to be talking about inviting investors to the country.
Yes.
But why? When there are a lot of us here in the Philippines that are looking for business, which means we have money, but we are getting that from abroad. Why don't we invest and look at the homegrown products in the Philippines? We can do software, we can do, all innovation covers everything, basically, right? So how do we draw them out? I think we should convert ourselves into angel investors.
Angel investors.
Angel investors.
Wow, I like that term.
Right?
Okay.
And so I'd like to create part of that, an army of angel investors. So can you imagine, we are approximately about maybe 50 plus thousand business people,
Okay.
right? Just imagine 50,000.
Yeah.
And then multiply that by the number of amount of money that some people may be aware, be ready to spend for something that is produced here.
Right.
However, there is also another problem. The problem with, if we look at it from the academic side, when students are given a project for their thesis before they graduate,
Yeah.
some of the projects that they may choose, since they are not yet in the industry, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's the problem out there.
Yes.
And then most of our teachers, not all, but most of our teachers are professional teachers, right? And they are also so busy in the academe,
Yeah.
so they don't know also what's happening in the industry.
Right.
And so why don't we try to bridge that gap? I mean, in terms of innovation.
Okay.
So how can we do that? Let's do what I call a reverse pitching. instead of the innovators, startup people, the founders, the inventors coming to the businessmen, why don't we, the businessmen, go out and tell them what our problems are?
Oh, okay.
Because the ones that are creative are problem solvers.
All right.
We are very good in finding problems in the business.
Yan tayo eh.
Oh, puro problem, no? We're always talking about problems. So why don't we tell our problems to people who will be able to probably come up with solutions, right?
Okay.
Kasi most of the time, we look outside of the country. And then in government, we also look outside for solutions outside. But it's always good to be able to do that. And then you've heard of crowdfunding, right? Well, if the amount of funding is not enough, we go crowdfunding. See? And then we'll invest and support projects. Now, how does this happen? So my plan is to get all the members of the Chamber of Commerce to work with a university that is supported by the Department of Science and Technology, specifically PSERT. They work with the schools, right? They encourage more innovation.
Yes.
So the input, actually, like for example, in our school in Perpetual Help, the university, we have the IoT lab, and then we have also an innovation hub. And then the head of that hub and what they do is encourage other colleges to come up with innovation. So what is missing there? I think the missing part is the industry problems.
Okay.
So that they will go, and that's what I call reverse pitching. We pitch our problems to them. Let them choose. Okay? And then these problems, maybe a teacher, a student will pick up the problem. That particular person who represents that industry can now get involved and tell them exactly what's happening in the industry. Maybe they can bring them to their factory or wherever.
Okay.
And that way, that will somehow bridge. That's just one, right? I mean, this is how I'm seeing how the school gets involved with the industry, and the industry likewise comes in and tells you the problem.
Yeah.
And then from there, maybe, hopefully, a spark begins.
Wow.
And can you imagine if you now, actually there are many schools in the Philippines that are supported by the DOST, but businessmen are not involved.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is where this finding and then funding, because if we are a group of investors, angel investors, we can start going around the Philippines to participate in pitching sessions in different regions in the Philippines. And then you never know. This is one way of bringing it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another side is that I am trying to get some people, or we have 7 inventor society.
Oh, we
in
have
the
7
Philippines.
now.
We have
I only
7.
know of one.
Yeah, we
The
have
Philippine
7.
Inventor Society.
we
Oh,
have.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've asked the Emi Bagsit, she's the head of the Calabarzon area. She's the regional governor or something, director.
Okay.
And she's helping with me.
Oh, I think
he's
I met
helping
her.
me.
I met her, right?
You did?
DOST?
Yeah, DOST, yeah.
Yeah.
And she talked to the people from TAPI. I don't know what TAPI stands for, but anyway, it seems like they're connected to the different inventors in the Philippines. So we'll have a meeting with the inventor societies and sit down with the Chamber of Commerce and see how we can collaborate. How can we participate?
That's amazing.
So we bring the inventors and then the businessmen to listen
Yep.
what's going on,
That's right.
right? So
Yep.
we have the finding, so we are looking for investors, and then probably the younger generation has also that.
Yes.
Okay, so you have
That's right.
startups and all that. So we can bring them all together, where we in the Chamber of Commerce are the ones looking now for innovation in the country. And hopefully, in this with this process, we should be able to become a net exporter.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Rather than
A net importer.
Net importer, that's right. I believe my co-host here Andrew has follow-up questions about the topic.
It, off the top of my head, I know that Ateneo has several schools. One of them is science and engineering, and the dean I know is quite open to collaboration with
Wow, that's great.
organizations like that. I guess do you have any kind of structure wherein when the industry leaders or businessmen and those who want to solve problems, want to innovate, get together, how does this? I mean, they can solve it, but is there some kind of proprietary on the solutions, on the ideas that students or hopefully even parents can offer? Is there some kind of, okay, if you solve this problem, I mean, funding it is not that far-fetched, but once the solution is given and it works, is there something like, okay, we own that solution? Is there?
First of all,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So first of all, like I mentioned earlier, we have 130 chambers of commerce.
Okay.
Right?
All
So
right.
let's say take Ateneo here. Okay. So what are the chambers of commerce around? Well, you have Marikina, you have Quezon City, you have the Pasig Chamber of Commerce. They can now participate.
All right.
So the members of the chamber will now participate. They will do the giving their problems in their industry. So each chamber of commerce has a set of members, and they may be representing different industries.
Okay.
Yes.
See, so now there will be a collaboration between the Ateneo and also the chambers
The
of
Chamber
commerce
of
that
Commerce.
are surrounding or nearby.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the start.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to those questions on the details,
Yeah, like
Okay, yeah.
the intellectual property or whatever
well,
you
you know,
call.
I leave that to the academe because they know already those things, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then,
all
of
right.
course, businessmen know how to do their own due diligence.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, we are going to have seminars to teach us businessmen how to become angel investors.
Oh, okay.
So part of that's
Yeah.
that's actually providing the businessmen the skills as well.
Right.
How to look into innovation, take a look at
To
so the
details.
steps.
Yeah.
It's just almost similar to having a VC, what is that again? I forgot. Venture capital.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right.
But this one is individuals. And then if the individual is not enough, he may not have all the money that he may,
Yes.
they may just go into crowdfunding.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
See? So
Yeah.
they get into a group and then they invest if they see. Because most of the investment, when the student is the one that starts, the first
Yes.
investor is the parent.
Parents, of
Correct.
course.
Yeah, with the
Always.
objective that they would be, that is in compliance so that the student will graduate.
Correct.
Correct.
But then when the businessman is involved,
Yeah.
that student doesn't have to leave the country if that is a very good project. And they can go
exactly.
straight into business.
Yeah.
And they have partners already from there.
Yeah.
The parents can be involved. See,
That's
the
right.
parents can be involved. The boy or the girl will be involved, and then the industry players are also involved.
Okay.
Or particularly maybe the one who represents that industry. Then they can talk and they can. I leave that now to the business sector. You have the academic sector,
Right.
And then you have the parents. Okay, then you combine the three.
Right.
Something will come up.
Yeah, it's up to them to, do the business dealings. But the
Diligence.
important thing
They
is,
do their diligence.
yeah,
Yes.
we have the angel investors. I think that's the most important thing because I know a lot of, young scientists. Like ako, I myself, I could have considered myself as a young scientist way back because I discovered something from our school, and which we actually won second place at DOST. It was a regional competition. The reason why we did not make it to the top because I was in the other competition. So laking hinayang ng school because I wasn't the one who presented it. But if I presented it, sabi ko siguro ngayon milyonaryo na ako. Wala na ako dito ngayon. But seriously speaking, it was just a tiny, it was just a tree, and then I discovered, and I converted it into oil. So I forgot the name. That's why I asked you, diba? You have a big mangrove or whatever. You might have that tree. Kaya lang you were asking me, what kind of tree? So I forgot. I don't know the name. So if only I knew that name, the name of that tree, so I'll be able to, ask for your help, to be able to fund that thing.
Go back and talk to your teacher.
Unfortunately, my teacher is no longer, left the earth already. So,
Okay.
I'm praying so hard
But I'll
because
tell you,
it's
there's another solution for that, though.
what's the solution for that?
Part of this finding funding,
Uh-huh.
really, is I have a project that is connected to it as well.
Okay.
And that is remote scientist.
Okay, remote scientists. Let's talk about that.
We have the program called Balik Scientist, but that requires the scientist to come back home.
Okay. So these are scientists living abroad na. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
The bright ones left.
Oh. And the old ones left the earth. Okay. All right.
Because there is no industry for them. See,
Actually.
if you think about it, research and development sometimes requires a lot more money than usual, and then sometimes some of them have left. I know particularly one who left. He was a professor in LaSalle, but he could not support his whole family, so he had to leave. Right? So he's now in Botswana, and he's a professor, and he's a robotics and AI.
Wow.
And Botswana is benefiting.
Shucks.
Correct.
Okay.
Right? But you see, he can be a remote scientist that will work with you. Let's say you are the one that, if you are into robotics or something like that,
Okay.
he can be a mentor or he can be a partner
Oh.
with technology that we have here in now at present, right?
All right.
We are in the 21st century,
Yeah. Huh?
and let's use technology to be able now to connect people. See? So somebody from abroad
Right.
can work with scientists over here as a partner as well to teach, to bring us to the next stage or level.
Yep.
And that's one of the projects I'm including in the finding funding. But the finding funding falls under one you
Umbrella?
might call it a macro statement, you might call it.
And that
is business creation.
Business creation. Okay. So
Creation.
that's creation. Okay. But
So it's basically because we are a chamber of commerce, we'd like to create more business. And part of it comes from innovation.
wow.
Just like Japan, Taiwan, Korea, South Korea, and all that. They're all exporting stuff.
Yes, that's right.
And they're producing it in their countries because they're keeping their bright people in there, and they all as a whole, work together, and with the government also supporting that.
Yeah.
Then they produce homegrown products, and then it's solving their own problems. Like say, we can come up with problems that solves Filipino problems, and then
Oh my God.
and then what if that problem also solves somebody else's problem abroad?
Right. Yeah.
And so instead of bringing products coming from abroad
Yeah.
and competing with each other,
That's
we are competing with a small market. What
Yeah.
about we reverse that?
Yeah.
If we produce homegrown
our own.
and we compete abroad,
Right.
then you have the world as our market,
Yeah.
bigger.
I have a question coming from our co-host. Actually, she's from DILG, coming from Ming Lopez. She was asking a while ago, like, how are they able to connect with you? Because, of course, they have the Sangguniang Kabataan, diba? DILG has a very large network, right? So she was asking how are they able to connect with you and come up with something like a partnership so that you'll be able to support their LGU as well for the funding innovation, because they have lots of the Sangguniang Kabataan is also big, like in the Philippines, diba? They're handling that all over the Philippines. They want to bring that innovation. They want to help the youth. Marami daw kasi yung mga, very talented people, genius people. So where can they connect with you, or how are they able to connect with you, or the Finding Funding Innovation Project itself?
Well, we have a committee called the Innovation Committee.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Innovation
and
Committee.
the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, you can always call that, and you can connect to our secretariat, and they will connect to us. The
Okay.
chairman of that is Mr. Ramon Escueta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Sir Ramon. Yeah, I met
Yeah,
him.
okay.
Hello.
And
Hi,
then
sir.
we have the director for that, and that is Director Perry Ferrer.
Oh, hi, Sir.
yeah.
Hi, Sir Perry. Okay.
So-
all right.
Here we are able to pass on the information,
All right.
and I'll start working on that.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for the information. Ming Lopez, ayan, all you have to do is just connect with Sir Edwin Moran here. I'll send you the details after the show. Anyways, moving on. So that's the business side of it. Do you have any more questions about the business side? Because we're going to talk about him naman. The other side of Edwin Moran, some parenting tips. He's a very successful guy. And then I think he has grandchildren na. And then successful kids. So we want to know more. Yeah, because ASPACes is a show for parents by parents. We want to show, the best parenting tips that we can, in the best way we can, to all the parents out there. So would you like to start with the first question?
Careful.
Vast. No, I was about to say there's a vast wealth of knowledge because of the experience and the resources that Mr. Moran has at his fingertips. But when we talk of parenting, a while ago we were discussing about your kids, and would you say like your parents, or how did they inspire you, or this desire to help and to connect and to develop innovators? Is there something that connects you to your childhood or to your parents? That's why you are into this?
Yeah.
I think when I was still little, actually, I think my mom, my dad just noticed certain mannerisms, characteristics. I think that's how we when we look at the child, we have to be basically more, we should be spending more time listening than talking.
Okay.
To the children,
Okay.
looking and watching. I think she must have because she knew that I was interested in things. So the things that she bought for me were things that you would put together. At that time, I don't think Lego was already present. So it was made out of steel.
Oh my God.
And stuff like that. Yeah, right. That was some time ago. Then later on, I don't know, she must have spotted something that during the summer, instead of going to swimming or going to something else, she sent me to a technical school
And
so
where
I
is
can
that?
put together my first AM, FM radio.
Oh my God.
Yeah, something like that. So I think,
Oh, wow.
so
All right.
later on, when she sent me over to the US as an exchange student.
And you were how old?
I was
by that?
16.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
that was
so-
going to college, right?
No, high school
That
again.
time. Okay. High
Yeah,
school.
I like high school so much, I did
Okay.
it twice.
Okay.
I graduated twice.
Okay, because that was the US. Back then, we didn't have senior high. Maybe that's the reason why
No.
Oh.
It's just that I graduated that time already in 1972 high school.
Oh, I
so
was
my high
very
school
young.
I did it one more time.
Wow.
So I graduated also in 1973.
Ang habol ni Sir yung dalawang beses magpa-prom.
Yes, I had 2 proms
Oh
as
my
well.
God.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did you know that?
Great minds think alike.
So and it was a good experience because what we were being trained was to become like ambassadors of the country, and that was way
wow.
back in 1972. I was under the Youth for Understanding program.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I was there, and they put me there in Des Moines, Iowa, and I went through a vocational school. It's called Des Moines Tech High.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's where I started playing with computers.
Ooh,
Because
that
we
was
had-
in 1972.
Two. Yeah.
So there were computers already?
Yes, of course. We even sent man to the moon already.
Really?
Right?
Big
I wasn't
giant
even,
computers.
I wasn't even born yet that time. I'm so sorry, I cannot relate. But I'm
Okay.
gonna be a good listener.
1968, we sent man to the moon, right? Okay, so there's the technology exists, except that it was not commercialized.
Yes.
But in our
that's a
school,
difference.
in that school, although the first computers were punch cards, right?
Correct.
There was a computer that was connected to the mainframe of NASA. In one of the satellite offices, which was about 2 hours away from where we were. And so I was already working with or playing around with modem. It's called acoustic modem. And
my
it's like a
God.
dial-up. I mean, real dial-up, like if they know to
were
really
so
dial
way
up. And
ahead
then you
of
put it on
all
a
of us.
cradle.
Okay.
So that's how I learned. So since then, I've been so fascinated with a lot of things, with innovation, new things that are coming out. So I'm always updated up to now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So that's
Okay.
That's
So
what
that
I
was
do.
your life back in the U.S. So you
Also here, and I brought it here as well.
Okay.
And that's why I'm still in the innovation
industry.
phase.
Right.
Because I'm always looking for something new,
okay.
something different.
So let's talk about being an exchange student because you were far away from your family, the real family, and then you went to the U.S.
Well,
you
I had
lived-
also a family there.
Okay, but where did you live when you were an exchange student? Did you live with another family, like
Yes.
a total stranger?
Yes.
How was that?
Oh,
how I mean, isn't it hard, like, to live in another?
For you.
Okay, so.
But
Okay,
because
kwento
of
mo naman, your story.
Yeah, because I'm a curious person. I'm always curious about.
So how did
many
it
things.
go? I mean, for 4 years, you lived in another home?
No. It was
So-
just only for the first year.
All right.
Yeah, as an
Okay.
exchange student.
So how was it? How was your experience?
Well, of course, it was different. A different culture, different family.
Yeah.
The pronunciation of words were so much different from ours,
Oh, okay.
And even if I was speaking English, they would say, "Speak to us in English."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because the pronunciation is different, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we don't say bank, we say bank or something like
Bank.
that, right? So
Bank,
instead of bag, it's a pronunciation difference
All right.
from the Philippines. But then it was easy for me to adjust. I was 16. So it wasn't something like it was so difficult.
So you didn't have any challenges, like you cried at night and you were missing your parents or your siblings and all. You missed the Filipino food, things like that. Like
No,
a
it was-
normal kid would.
There was too many things going on at the same time.
Oh,
so,
you were just really excited
yeah,
about
so
everything.
going to another high school, different people.
Meeting a lot of girls, women.
included, of course, you can't take that away. But basically, the main reason why I did not feel homesick or missing things was because I was curious about the culture, right?
Okay.
And at the same time, as a young kid, basically, you have this want to become a part of, meaning you don't want to be ostracized.
Okay.
When you're
All
16,
right.
you don't really think that you're really outside of another country. You just want
Alright.
to be part
Okay.
of being a teenager. That's it. When they all go on a date, I don't
Okay.
want to be left alone. Something like that.
But
right?
it's a must. You should go on a date.
Well, they all
Okay.
go out and I'm left behind.
Why?
No, that's what I mean.
Oh,
I don't want to
okay.
be left behind. So
All right.
you adapt.
Oh, okay. Adaptability.
Although,
Okay.
Nowadays, I don't think that's really a problem with the technology
Well,
at hand.
well, today, yes, it's different in 1972
Yeah,
as opposed to
Okay.
50 years after.
How different is that? I mean, what's the main difference? 1972.
The technology
To this
has
day.
changed. We're able to communicate all over the world, and
Okay.
you look at all the games that the kids are playing.
Yeah.
Behind every character is somebody else playing with it, and so you're interacting with people from different parts of the world.
But what remains?
different cultures.
1972 and 2025. What remains? Is there something that you notice that Still there. Andun pa rin siya.
Still there?
I mean, aside from you being
Whether-
still young,
Whether good or bad.
whether good or bad, you still young, very young. Later on, we'll talk about your health
I think it's
challenges.
we're becoming almost like one world.
One world.
Yes.
Okay. All
Meaning
right.
the culture, lots of the barriers in the cultures are breaking down because we are interacting.
Oh, yeah.
We're
okay.
interacting with different parts of different people from all over the world.
All right.
So it will just be one human character.
Okay. So that
Earthlings
remains. All right.
character, right?
Okay.
One world.
At least the humanity is still there.
I
diba?
would say, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
it'll always be there. It's just that, of course, you'll think that Elon Musk is planning on going to Mars,
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
Hindi
Well,
pa ba?
because he's thinking of how to save our
Di ba you
species.
wanted to go?
Yeah.
You wanted to
Yeah,
join?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, because if you think about it, we have only one home right now.
Yep.
And we don't want to be like the dinosaurs. They became extinct because the world got hit by something or whatever, right? We
Oh.
don't want to be extinct, so we have to go interstellar. That's the thinking of a lot of people now in terms of saving our species. We can save our world, but we have to also save our species. And I think that's one of the things that drives Elon, because those are the thinking of some of our scientists throughout the world.
Yeah.
We need to be able to save our species.
Wow.
And part of it is just going interstellar. It's something that we think we should do.
Wow. You know, Edwin Moran being on the show really fits because ASPACes, this is your space, your voice, your story. And we're talking about spaces here. Diba? So we talked about the business a while ago, him paying it forward, and then his personal life, parenting tips. Now let's talk about naman your health. You know, I believe that, you know, some time ago, you weren't like this. You
No,
were
I
not
was
that
not.
fit, diba? Would you like to share it with everyone? Kasi the challenge that we're facing now, diba, with the technology, with lots of food, diba? We eat everywhere, kain sa labas, kain dito. We don't exercise. Tulog lang ng tulog, kape and all. And I'm not saying bad about coffee, pero kumbaga wala na yung healthy lifestyle. So how are you able to go back and to revive your health? You know, being the Edwin Moran that we see now, the young-looking guy, compared to the picture that you showed me several years ago, you
Yeah.
were like, oh my God, you were like gulay.
Yeah.
But gulay is good for you.
Yeah, he was like gulay. He was in a
That means
wheelchair.
the gulay is not fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't fresh anymore. He was in a
Withered.
wheelchair lang talaga. You know, I want to inspire lang everyone
Yeah.
out there because there's still hope.
Well, you know, it all started when I could not walk anymore in December 2019.
Oh my God.
So
6 years
2014 to 2019, I was constantly sickly. Especially my business was in the BPO industry.
Oh,
yeah. So that
okay.
means I had
That
a
explains
messy sleeping time.
Correct.
Right? So and my eating time was also all messed up because
Right.
so
You
all
have to
that.
be up all night, right?
Not necessarily. When you own the company,
Oh,
you
okay.
just have to be there. But this is 3 shifts.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's right.
I accelerated my aging process. So we have a way of accelerating our aging process. We seem to be doing things
Yeah,
that will make us grow old so much quicker.
correct.
Okay? So when I reached 64, when I turned 64, I was so sickly. I said, and then I could not walk. I said, is this the beginning of the end? Yeah, because
Okay.
then what's after when you can't walk, right?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. If I just let it go, then I'll probably be just at home and be a couch potato and all that. So I decided I'm going to start to optimize my health.
So
But how
that's
do
a
I do that?
decision. Okay.
The fact that we are in the 21st century with so many innovation. So if my legs will not be restored, there's always, you see these athletes, they've got their legs were amputated,
Yeah.
and a different type of leg
Yeah.
is placed, and they can go back to running,
prosthetic,
swimming.
right? Yeah.
They do all these things, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about technology. We are in a time where technology is so fast. In the past, it takes about 60 years before something happens, because when the time from the Wright brothers learning how to fly to making it to the moon in 1968, you're talking about 60 years that goes by.
Right.
But today, with technology and innovation that's going on, it can be happening every second. Somebody else is thinking of a solution of something, and they share that on the internet, because we have the internet. We can call, we can talk to people, we can collaborate. Everything can be done so much quicker now that things can be solved much quicker as well. So that means there is what you call obsolescence also becomes very quick, right? Obsolescence of certain technology. But when new technology comes in, also it produces new careers as well.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So when I was thinking of all of that, I said, I am so glad that I have been able to live this long, and I have reached this stage, right? This stage where I will not be worried if I lose sight, because I will be able to use something to see.
Yeah.
You have something like I have a what do you call this? The bone conduction.
Like a hearing aid or something?
Yeah, no, it's a hearing aid. It's bone conduction, and it bypasses your eardrums and goes directly to your cochlea. So that's what I use now. So I can actually hear through my bones.
So it's transplanted?
No.
Okay.
No, it just works that way, where you just you wear it and then it's here outside.
Oh, all right.
All right. And so what it does is that the sound goes through your bones straight to your cochlea, bypassing your eardrum. So no problem now if you go deaf, because you can still hear. You can now all this technology, right?
Amazing.
So with this technology, I should be able to determine how I can optimize my health.
Oh my
And there's so many technology, like getting to know what are your deficiencies in vitamins, what are your deficiencies in trace minerals. If you have all of that, the body is a great machine, right? It heals.
Wow.
But you have to introduce into the body all the trace minerals and all the vitamins that it needs, the ingredients to heal.
Okay.
So what I've done so far, in short, is that instead of I growing old and accumulating more medicines, I am getting rid of all those other medicines that I accumulated then. Yeah,
and they're
I have
all
one
natural.
more left.
Okay.
Yeah, so
wow,
it can be done with all this technology.
Is that the reason why you put up your hospital in Las
No.
Piñas?
It
Okay,
was
so that's
just-
way back.
Yeah,
before
it
you
was
got
just
sick.
that I did not want to go and leave this world without a bang.
Oh,
I want a bang.
okay.
I want to go and say, I did it, right?
Oh, like a legacy.
Yeah. So it's a roller
okay.
coaster ride.
All right.
And learning all of these things that's happening in the world, I want to know all the new innovations.
Yeah.
You see, all these things. We have now replacements of human parts.
Right.
They can create human parts. Now they have the DNA editing. So it's like editing a Word document, right? There's so many things that is happening today. There's no time for us to sleep, actually, because it's happening 24 hours a day. Everything is changing.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but I'm not recommending people not to sleep, okay?
Of course. Our body needs
have to make,
rest.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that you have enough time to sleep. As you age, it should not be lesser. It should be actually 7 to 8 hours at least.
Yeah.
And you should have REMs, dream, so it repairs your memory.
Yeah.
And then you need deep sleep, because that's the time that the body is repairing itself.
Wow, beautiful story.
Yeah.
I know you're a cousin of Margie Moran. Are you trying to follow her footsteps? I'm just curious because you're both, you're helping. And Margie Moran, although she's a different industry, but she was able to, put up her own legacy as well. I'm pretty sure she's still helping a lot of, the movie makers here in our country.
Well, we don't see each other often.
Okay.
But, Metro Manila is small.
Yeah.
Everybody meets each other and eventually
Right.
somehow. And that's the only thing that is sad sometimes is that we only meet when somebody dies.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
That's the
that
sad
happens
part
at
about
this
it.
part, no? But
Yeah.
that's how it goes,
Right.
Our parents will go,
Yeah.
just like we will be eventually,
Sure.
Nobody
Circle of
can
life.
escape that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we can prolong.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we can prolong. So, which means as long as nobody gets drunk in this, and is driving drunk, and
Recklessly.
somehow you cross the street or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but for as long as you are able to know how to optimize your health, because there's so many technology out there,
True.
and
That's
I'd like
really
to
true.
see technology coming from oozing out of the Philippines.
Wow. We're so inspired with your story, especially the technologies. We were looking forward to more of you helping a lot of innovators and
Yeah.
scientists. I believe you're leaving for Japan this Saturday. Would you like to tell us more about it? Is it also related to the funding innovation?
No, this is a trip under
Okay.
the Philippine-Japan Business Council,
Uh-huh.
right? So we're looking for business opportunities.
Wow.
We,
That's true.
we have about,
good.
in the Chamber of Commerce, you have about 32 business councils, different countries that we deal with. And this is one with Japan. I am the co-chair for Philippine-U.S. Business Council.
Ooh, okay.
So I develop whatever trade we can do between the two
US.
countries. This one, I just participate.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going there on the 5th until the 14th of this month.
Wow. Let's try to open the doors between you, your funding innovation, and of course whatever you do for businesses with
Yeah.
Ateneo. We hope to see that partnership in the near future or soon sana, di ba?
Yeah.
Sir Andrew?
The past, like I said, I go back to our past meeting with scholars, the graduating scholars,
Right.
And my work with scholars, I find that a lot of them are supported by DOST.
Right.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't have an avenue. Like you said,
Yeah.
they might be problem solvers, but I don't think they're out of touch with the problems of the industry
True.
that they can solve or how they can help. No? That's why I think the projects that they are involved with are usually they come out the same year in, year out.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we can be instrumental in developing this kind of partnership
Yep.
between your ideas and the students in Ateneo,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that they can channel that the support by DOST for their education can be
Right.
channeled into something more constructive, more useful to the industries out
Right.
there.
That's why I was suggesting that you have government, the academe,
Yes.
and the business people.
That's right. Yeah.
The combination, because business will now sell it, the product, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Promote it.
Yes.
We're good at that. See, if we're good in bringing products coming from other countries and come to the Philippines, we should be the same. We should be good whatever is produced here. So we need to just encourage more production or getting all the creative Filipinos to come up with solutions to the problems of industry.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Sir Edwin Moran. We hope to have more angel investors, calling all the angel investors out there to please, join Sir Edwin Moran and his funding innovation and whatever he does to be able to help more people, especially the young ones, to have I hope, a brighter future here in the Philippines. So we don't have to leave the country to work abroad, di ba? Para lang buhayin nating family. But before we leave our words of wisdom, I'd like to share, of course, parenting tips. Just one lang. Let's start off with you, since you are the youngest amongst us. The best parenting tip that you would like to share with everyone out there.
As a parent,
Yes.
because I am a mix of the Western and Eastern.
Right.
One of the things that I learned from the Western part is that I need to allow my children to find their niche in the world.
Okay.
I know that there's a lot of people that would, especially here in the Philippines, we tend to push our kids where the money is.
Yes.
Okay? So the problem is, they'll say, oh, mag-nurse ka kasi money is good if you're a nurse. And then, or become kung hindi pwede, then you can take caregiving or things like that. But the problem with that, when you are in chasing money, usually it is very elusive.
Okay.
But if you find something that you love to do, like Charlie Lim, who loves
Yes, you're a
photography,
good friend.
and he gets paid for it, you see? Doesn't that make you the happiest person on earth?
Yes, I believe that.
Because you're doing something that you love,
right.
and you get paid for it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that, rather than doing all the things that you don't like,
Yeah. And
and then
happy.
you'll say, I want to retire. I'm looking forward for my retirement. And then you have only a few years left to
Yeah.
enjoy your life.
And you're sick. Diba?
What about why not enjoy life from the very beginning up to the end?
Correct.
So allow your children to discover their niche in the world. What are they, what do they like to do? And we just guide.
Thank you.
And then provide if
That's amazing.
necessary.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. What about you?
Well,
You always share that. I remember last time you shared about something like cement. Yeah, but I'd like to hear that again. You know, for those viewers out there who were not able to watch our show last week. Anyway, hi to Sir Lito Jimenez, our co-parent from ASPAC. Hello to my beloved Eric Picar. Thank you for watching. I know I'm using the mic the right way now. And also to Kevs and Migs from Tops and Bots Clothing. Yeah, I'm wearing your jacket. Thank you very much for the very good discount. Thank you. And also hello to Lawrence Luz, Jennifer Chua, of course, Justin Pontino, our station manager. Thank you, Justin. I'll see you in a bit. All right. Sige, you were sharing something like cement, or maybe you have something to share. Not cement naman this time.
Well, wait, let me just follow up on what Mr. Moran was saying. no?
Okay.
Because I also had a professor, I don't know if Mr. Moran would be familiar, Mr. Pagsanghan.
Okay.
He would always say, find what you enjoy doing, and later on find a way to make it pay. Which is
That's right.
similar to what Mr. Moran was saying.
That's
I
right.
also noticed that from Mr. Moran, it would what I gleaned from what he was saying is that always stay curious. And
Okay.
when parents find their kids curious about something, then encourage that. No, very often, like he was saying, parents would say, "Oh, just go into this because it's profitable, or maybe because I'm already a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, that you should follow what I do." No, so whatever their curiosity lies in, I guess that's where we should encourage as parents. And I guess, well, even as parents, maybe we should not lose that curiosity, even as we go older. Just because you reach a certain age doesn't mean that you should stop being curious about things. I know of people who are older who still are curious about how things work, about languages, about cultures. That's what fuels them.
Right.
And I think the quote that you were looking for is that we should treat our children like wet cement.
Yeah.
Because whatever befalls them makes an impression.
Yeah.
So as
Well,
pa-
Yeah.
the world has changed. So the
So what
only thing
now?
is some principles that we can advise our kids. But the way things are done, the business and all that, it's so much different from our time.
That's true.
And
I think
and
so,
it will
too.
also continue to change.
Yeah,
That's right.
It will.
The important thing is maybe the values, right?
How we guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's we what directions we set for
Yeah.
our children, and they will set for their children.
Yeah, not dictating them, but trying to support them, right? Like consultants or mentor, like or partners. Always try to be observant of your kids, diba? Not pushing them to doing something that they don't like.
Correct.
Right?
And as a nation, yeah,
Yes.
as a nation,
I like that. Okay.
why?
No, I mean,
we
It's
should
so-
prepare. We should prepare and pave the way for the next generation.
oh wow, that is really something.
Diba?
Yep, we're looking. We're building a nation here, diba? It's not just about us. It's about
Oh,
the
yeah.
community and about people.
Ultimately,
diba?
The next generation.
That's right.
What they should not look at our generation as what did they just leave us with?
Yeah, right. Wala man lang legacy.
So at least they can say, I think this generation, they really prepared for us, the next generation.
That's
so it
true.
should be something like that.
That's
Yes.
right. That's amazing. I am so inspired by your sharing. And I recently watched the movie F1, and I was so inspired. And like what Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt said in the movie, it's not about the money. I always believe in that. It's always about your passion, what you love to do. Just like me, I love radio. This is what I love, and I've been doing this for the longest time, and I'm very happy with what I do. So I'm not saying that I'm super rich because being rich naman, it's not about the money, diba? It's here, diba? When you love what you do, you'll be able to, one of these days, diba, people will pay you for what you do, diba? Because they see that you love what you're doing, they see your passion, they see your heart, and that's what they pay you for, diba? Your services is always your heart. And of course, John Wooden says, things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. Diba? Malapit na maubos sa aking Winford Manila quotes. This is from Winford. Thank you so much. Yeah, I always share this one. Maubos na, but I write everywhere. So I doodle everywhere.
Maybe
Yes.
we can. We have a special request for
Yes.
our
That's right.
people who follow the show.
Yes.
And
That's going to be August 11, parental guidance. Would you like to tell us more about it?
well,
It's going to be Jen and Jay.
Yes,
Jay
we
and
were-
Jay. Yeah.
we would like to make a request or an invitation to parents or the listeners if they have any questions
Or experience.
or
Beautiful
experience about
Uh-huh.
parenting.
Yep.
They are curious about situations that they've encountered and how we or Silagen could help
Right.
them deal with in a better fashion. Maybe they could
Send their letters.
send your
Or-
questions in.
All right.
Would we have a
like an email?
Yeah,
or,
where they can
okay, where they
send
send. Okay. Yeah, I believe they could send their letter or their experience through the Radyo Katipunan Facebook page. So we're live now, so that's where you can send it to the messenger. And then next week we're gonna post the email address or the messenger on our show. That's going to be on July 7. That's on July 7. So please watch out for that. Again, to all those who are watching right now, to all those who are supporters, if you have any concerns that you'd like to share, be it good or bad, please share it with us so that we'll be able to share it to the world as well and promote. And of course, lalo pa nating pag-iigihan yung show. So watch out for Jennifer Ramirez and of course for Mr. Jose Luis Domingo. That's why it's J&J called Parental Guidance. It's going to be launched on August 11. That's part of our segment. And of course, we'd like to promote as well the Dance for a Cause. That's sponsored by our association of Schools of Parents Council. I think that's going to be done sometime in October. So watch out as well for the posters posted on our Facebook page and on our show. So thank you to our fellow ASPAC, to all the officers, and of course, board members and the YLR. That's the year-level representatives. And of course, I'd like to thank Pong Santos. DJ Pong Santos, can you come here? We'd like to thank him for the coffee. Ang sarap. Diba, bumili lang tayo ng konti, dumami naman. Pong, DJ Pong Santos, thank you so much from Thames International. Maraming salamat for your KTP. You, support niyo po, support. Maraming salamat. I think that's it for today. Yes?
One last.
Go ahead.
I was asked by a friend of mine from the chamber, Mr. Paul Aure. He just wanted to let the other people know that in the Chamber of Commerce, we have also what we call the mediation committee.
Mediation.
Mediation.
Mediation. Okay.
Yeah. Instead of
all right.
when people are at odds with each other in business and all that, it's too costly when you go to court. So go into the mediation. Yes, we specialize in mediation. Yes.
That's the Philippine Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
You do that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, any problems? Any. Kahit heart problems?
No.
No naman.
Business.
I'm just kidding. Okay, that's amazing. So please keep in touch. Look for the Facebook page of Philippine Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And industry.
And industry. Yeah, they have a very active page and of course active group. So if you're into that industry, if you think you still have that something or that invention that you did long time ago and you want to revive it, you want to,
or if you have conflicts.
Yeah, if you have conflicts about it, please keep in touch or any of your Philippine Chamber of Commerce in your city or in your area.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you once again. Next week, we will have Mr. Marvin Rodriguez, the Country HR Director of Coronis Health Philippines, and also a fellow Rotarian from 30 District Chair. Vocational Service will be joining us, and we'll talk about BPO and, of course, work-life integration and a lot of things. So thank you once again for joining us. ASPACes, this is your space, your voice, your story on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Sabay-sabay, your one big FM. Your one big FM. One more time. Come on, join us. Your one big FM. Thank you, everyone. Ingat po. It's a rainy Monday. Bye, everyone.
They've been behind every exam week, every thesis defense, and every milestone along the way. As they grow into thinkers, leaders, and changemakers, we are right there with them, listening, learning, and leading. This is your space, your voice, your story, where parenthood, purpose, and community come together on air. This is ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. Listen in, laugh with us, and journey alongside fellow Ateneo parents as we share stories of service, solidarity, and the magic in everyday parenting. ASPACes, your story, your voice, your space. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.